Little guys, follow me. Kill, tear Bai Ye into pieces. A large group of pirates ran on the streets of the capital. After seeing the scene, the civilians in the capital screamed and ran away. When the pirates rushed to the palace, all the ruthless pirates began to set fire on the road. The fire outside the city was soaring, and the city soon became thick with smoke. Xiao traveled through the night and soon surpassed the pirates and arrived in front of the palace and advanced. The kingdom of Goa can only be regarded as a small country in the pirate world, so the palace is just a castle with a small area. Hiding near the kingdom, Xiao began to wait for the click pirates. The capital is divided into 3 areas. The outermost is the civilian area, followed by the central street, and the center is the palace. Outside the palace area, there is a city wall, but the wall is not very high. The click pirates will soon break through the wall and enter the palace area. The guards in the palace area had already been dispatched in full force, and soon, shouts of killing were heard. Xiao was still waiting. According to his understanding, the guards in the palace area were completely strong on the outside but weak on the inside. Those guards who had rarely seen blood were no match for those pirates. This was indeed the case. After only half an hour, the guards in the palace area were beaten back and retreated to the front of the palace. These guards were in a very embarrassed state, looked hurried, and suffered heavy casualties. Some of the weaker ones even fled on the spot. Little guys, the palace is right in front of us, let's rob it. Click was already bloodthirsty. He was first deceived by Xiao, and then he killed all the way, which made this pirate completely crazy. Kill, don't spare a single one. At Click's command, hundreds of pirates behind him rushed to the palace and fought with those guards. The most brutal hand-to-hand combat began, and the sound of gunshots like popping beans was heard from time to time, blood splattered, and limbs fell to the ground one after another. In the palace, the king, who was already resting, was awakened by the noise outside the castle. The king of the kingdom of Goa is a man in his 60s with black hair and a big beard. Because of the luxurious diet and the superb doctors in the palace, the king does not look old. What's going on outside? It's so noisy all of a sudden. King Philip Herbert got up impatiently, and the princess beside him also sat up blankly. Your Highness, it seems like gunshots outside, something happened. The princess is very young and timidly nestles in the king's arms. Someone come. The bedroom door was pushed open, and a sturdy man rushed in. On the sturdy man's face, there was a very deep scar, the scar spanning the entire face, making the sturdy man look particularly hideous. Hausen, what's going on outside? The sturdy man called Hausen is the king's personal guard. But on Hausen's neck, there is a metal collar, the collar is iron black, and there are some sophisticated mechanisms at the connection. If Xiao was present, he would definitely recognize this collar, which is a slave collar in the pirate world. This strong man named Hausen is actually a slave, and his life and death are in the hands of the king. No wonder the king made him a close bodyguard. Hausen did not speak, but just made a few gestures. Hausen no longer has the ability to speak, his tongue was cut off by the slave trader. If it were not for his unusually strong body, he might have been killed by the slave trader. Pirates? How could there be pirates in the palace? Right, Minister, you go and send someone to get rid of this group of pirates. Although the king felt that something was wrong, he did not care too much, and it seemed that he was very confident in the guards in the palace. Hausen stood in the room, the slave collar on his neck bound his freedom, and this collar could be detonated, and then he would die. Outside the palace, Xiao was waiting for the opportunity. It's not the right time yet. Although the fighting in the palace is fierce, it has not reached its peak. After the melee lasted for about an hour, the king in the palace finally lost his composure. The king clearly felt that the shouts and screams were getting closer and closer. At this moment, the king realized the seriousness of the matter. With a bang, the door was knocked open, and the right minister covered in blood rushed into the bedroom. Your Highness, it's bad. The pirates have come up and have now rushed to the 3rd floor. The king's face changed drastically. Impossible, where are my guards? Those guards have been carefully selected. How could they be beaten back like this? The right minister knelt on the ground, curled up, and did not dare to answer. There were no elite guards in the palace, just some young people who spent a lot of money. Hausen, you go, wait. The king was tangled. Hausen was indeed powerful, but if Hausen was sent out, his own safety would not be guaranteed. But if Hausen is not sent out, the pirates will soon kill him, and the bullets will not have eyes. Deal with the pirates as quickly as possible, and come back immediately. It doesn't matter if you are injured, do you understand? If the king dies, you will be buried with him. Hausen's eyes were calm, he just nodded dully, and then left the room. Su Xiao, who was waiting outside the palace, soon heard a loud noise from the palace. On the third floor, a large area of purple poisonous gas spread. Finally waited for this moment. Su Xiao jumped up, and the whole person was like a gecko, clinging to the outer wall of the castle. Climbing up flexibly, Su Xiao directly passed the third floor. The battle was on the third floor, so the king could not be below the third floor. After arriving at the third floor, Su Xiao saw through the window that two people were fighting. It was Click and a strong man. But what Su Xiao didn't expect was that Click was beaten badly, with one arm hanging down limply, and it seemed that he couldn't hold on for long. That strong man was a human tank, and every time he charged, he would smash a large part of the wall. If Su Xiao fought with such a monster, he would be defeated in less than 2 minutes. He was undoubtedly right not to assassinate the king directly. Fighting with such an enemy was completely seeking death. This strong man, conservatively estimated to have a strength attribute of more than 20 points. Click was almost unable to hold on, so there was not much time left, and Su Xiao had to act as soon as possible. There were many rooms in the palace, and Su Xiao quickly checked through the window. No trace of the king was found on the 4th floor, and then the 5th floor, the 6th floor. After a quick search, Su Xiao finally found the king through the window. The other party was not in a room, but fled in a corridor. It seemed that he wanted to escape to a higher place to reduce the chance of being discovered by pirates. The continuous vibrations from below the castle made the king confused. The white moonlight came in from the window, and the king ran quickly in the corridor. Your Highness, I can't run anymore, let's take a rest. The princess who followed the king to escape sat on the ground panting. The king's expression changed continuously. He still felt a little fresh about this woman, so he didn't want to abandon her, but compared with life, women were nothing in his heart. Then my beloved concubine, rest here. After saying that, the king was ready to turn around and leave, leaving the princess sitting stupidly on the ground. At this moment, the glass window next to the corridor shattered with a crash, and a figure holding a sharp blade broke through the window.